And we should be live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Those Aren't Biscuits. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Cadet, and with me, as always, the top 6 of my top 5, Owen Adams.
Joe, normally I would complain with that, but I think 6 is not too bad. I'm happy with 6. 6 is a good number. It's double 3, which sort of makes it double a magic number. Yes, it is. You know? You know what I mean?
I am never taking you horse racing. Just...
Why?
Well, because oh yeah, right. I picked the winner. Let me see. No, that's 6th place. That's pretty good.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be the winner. I want to be,
6th.
Yeah. Double 3, the magic number. Don't ruin my love for the number 3, Jonathan.
Now, okay, let's be fair. Do you like that song, or do you like the Blind Melon version of that song?
I like blind melons.
I mean,
They taste delicious, and it's
blind?
amusing to laugh at the disadvantaged.
They'll never see it coming.
What's funny is
slowly slide the knife into them.
I used to have a dog that loved melon. So I'm just imagining, a blind melon being fitted with a seeing eye dog and then being slowly devoured. Like, no, God, no.
Finally, the world is my oyster. I can finally venture out. No,
my rind, my crusty rind.
My beautiful striped rind.
I'm assuming this was a cantaloupe, hence crusty.
Oh, no, I was going like watermelon.
Could have been a gala.
Or a honeydew.
I like watermelon. I think cantaloupe is incredibly overrated. Honeydew, I think, is the grade A melon.
How about a muskmelon?
I don't know what that is. I think that might be an innuendo. Muskmelon was my nickname in high school. Because I was bald then, too, you see.
I was orange inside. Actually, I think muskmelon is green inside.
Ew.
I
think watermelon has it right, because it's such vibrant red inside. When you stab it, it is like you're stabbing a life form. That's bringing out our natural cravings to end life.
No, a muskmelon. Okay, so a muskmelon is orange inside. It's very similar to a cantaloupe.
What's the melon? You might know this. I like melon, but I'm not one of those people who knows my melons. What's the melon
I'm a melon connoisseur.
Screams and begs for mercy when you pierce it with a sharp object? It tells you it has a wife and kids and screams, "I'm not a melon. My name's Alan. I work at the bank." Which one's that?
Oh, see, I thought you were thinking of like Christopher Maloney.
No. Maloney. Shh, Maloney, melon. It's all in the name. Right. You can't pull the wool over my eyes. This is just what Daryl Strawberry said.
Read between the lines. Do you know who Daryl Strawberry is?
Just enough to make that joke work.
He was a baseball player for the New York Yankees.
I know. He was in an episode of The Simpsons. He also grows in low light conditions in vegetable patches.
Muskmelon is a species of melon that has been developed into many cultivated varieties. These include smooth skin varieties such as honey. Oh, so a muskmelon is basically the family name of the honeydew and the crenshaw and the cassava, the cantaloupe, the Persian melon.
Because prior to that, everyone was like, "Yeah, these melons remind me too much of scrotum."
The Armenian cucumber is also a variety of muskmelon. That sounds like a innuendo.
I gave her the old Armenian cucumber.
Heyo.
No, it was legitimately a cucumber. Technically, it's a type of muskmelon. Oh. Yeah, I gave her my muskmelon. What? No, you're really taking this the wrong way. Look, it's a fruit. It's similar to the Japanese snake gourd. What? I've just looked up the Armenian
pickling melon.
I've just looked up the Armenian cucumber, which is not to be confused with the snake gourd. It says, but look, it is also known as the yard-long cucumber, the snake cucumber, and the snake melon. I mean, they're doing this on purpose at this point, right?
Right.
Hey, baby, want to see my yard-long cucumber?
Hashtag me too.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was going there. You beat me to it. Hello in the chat to Blage. Hello to AJ. Hello to Sinister Minister. And hello to Loose Corner. It's good though, because now you get in trouble for it and I don't.
Right.
I'm free. I didn't say it.
Oh no, you still get in trouble. I'm the one claiming me too. I'm the
right.
assaulted.
You're the
here.
victim.
Yes. Like I didn't want this.
The Armenian cucumber is a type of long, slender fruit which tastes like a cucumber and looks somewhat like a cucumber inside. Okay. Why don't we just call it a cucumber? I mean, we do, I suppose.
Yeah, the Armenian cucumber.
The skin is very thin, light green, and bumpless. It has no bitterness.
It is.
I know. It has no bitterness, and the fruit is almost always used without peeling. Alright, to be fair, I don't know about that. I just find it more pleasurable without peeling. Armenian cucumber plants prefer to grow in the full sun for most of the day. Yeah, but I'm not allowed in the in the park anymore, unfortunately.
I exposed my Armenian cucumber too many times.
I tried to grow my cucumber in the sun all day, but I'm in a lot of trouble now.
These people really don't like vegans. Who's cornered this? Oh no, not the Armenian cucumber. Oh yeah. There's no escaping the Armenian cucumber.
It looks like a dick.
Does it?
No, not really, but the description makes it sound like it looks like a dick.
See, a large number of cultivars in this species found in wild cabbage. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, one doesn't really work, does it?
I was trying.
We're testing the limit now.
Nutrition. Per 100 gram serving, cantaloupe melons provide 34 calories and are a rich source.
Yeah, they do.
And vitamin C. With other nutrients at a negligible level. Do I even mention it? Like...
But yeah, not a big fan of cantaloupe. I like watermelon, because watermelon definitely doesn't seem like a melon. You know what I mean? I feel like a different type of fruit, you know?
I think it is, like, technically.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thought of a water fruit.
Well, it's like most berries that they call berries aren't actually berries. Like...
Oh, hold on. So watermelon might be a cucumber.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, fair enough. Apparently it's related, but they belong to slightly different types. So
right.
They belong to a family called Cucurbitaceae.
That's exactly how you pronounce it.
Definitely. And cucumber and melons are one family, and watermelon and similar stuff are another family. So they're part of a large family. But watermelon's like the only popular one in that family, I guess. Oh, the citron melon is also related to the watermelon.
Isn't that like... All I can think is like F1 racing. Like, isn't Citroen like a big...
Yeah, they make cars, but this is not the same spelling. This is...
Coming around the second corner, the Citroen watermelon.
Well, this is just confusing. Another member of the family is the tendrilless melon. And now I'm really worrying what's been missing from all the other melons I've been eating. I've been getting those tendrilless melons. I'm really sick of the melons strangling me in the night. Honey, save me! Cantaloupe attack!
I think you only get those tendril melons at, like, I don't know, Miskatonic University and I can't... H.P. Lovecraft shit, okay? That's what I was going for. H.P. Lovecraft. I can't think of the other...
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah. Arkham. There we go.
The plant relies on water deep in the ground and morning fogs.
Yep, there you go.
Feel sorry for that. Oh, what are we gonna drink today? Dig deep into the ground or wait for the fog to descend? Water drip in the ground, morning fogs, and the water that exists all around us, but we normally can't see out of the corner of our eye.
a color that you can't explain.
So how you doing, John? What's going on?
Doing all right. Like, I think we just changed it to like our top 5 melons. Just number 1, Christopher Maloney.
Yeah, well, we haven't done this like as a proper show in like 3 weeks, right? Because last week we did the adaptation, and then the week before we were just playing The Division and pretending we were doing a show.
Right.
Essentially.
Right. Well, no, we did one the week. Yeah, so I guess it has been 3 weeks, huh?
Yeah. Kind of.
I don't know. Not much has really been going on. It's
Have you watched next week's adaptation movie yet?
I haven't yet.
Neither have I. So we'll just do another Division stream and delay it. No, we gotta do it this week.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm actually traveling away. I'm going to a wedding at the end of this week, so I'll add it to like my travel movies.
Okay.
Get in there. So I will have watched it with a cell phone. So I'll be like, well, it's quite low resolution. A lot of the actors are really small. It really took me out of the movie, to be honest.
You're just watching 2.5 hours of Cyanide and Happiness cartoons. Just.
I didn't like that bit about halfway through when a lady stopped and asked me if I wanted to buy a sandwich with a little cart. It was a real strange detour. I expect better of Zemeckis.
Well, I thought that it really spoke to the industrialization of our old mythologies. They're being pushed out one rye sandwich at a time.
Certainly. And then how the soundtrack just the whole time had like a just noise just running through it. No, that's probably when I watch it. Be good.
Yeah. Let's see here. Apparently it's pronounced cucurb it ache.
That's what I said. Cucurb it ache.
That sounds like one of those. So I'm gonna sound incredibly
here we go.
Dull here, I guess.
Hold on, everybody.
Like, very unrefined. But it's one of those words that I can't stand because it sounds fancier than what it really is.
I mean, it is just a Latin name.
Sure, but it reminds me of what's the term? Porticosure.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what this is?
I don't.
It's a fucking drive-through, right? And I heard it for the first time at where I work because I'm not kidding. They were going to have a ribbon cutting on the new porticosure that they installed in the front, and basically all it is, it's a roof that hangs over the road where you can pull up and drop people off.
All right.
Yeah. You don't need a name like porticosure for it, or porticoche, or whatever. It's a drive-through.
I remember the first time I heard the word awning. I was probably a little older than I should have been, but this is so dumb.
Call me angel.
But
awning,
but it was that book Needful Things, the Stephen King book, because the main character in that book is a kid.
It's an awning.
Dad works for a company that fits awnings, and his mom's never interested in anything he has to say, except he sees the Needful Things shop, and he mentions it has an awning, right? I had to go look up what an awning was. And to this day, I vividly remember my reaction being, that has a word? And I wasn't calling it anything in my head. I literally never had to use, of course there's a name for it. It makes complete sense that there would be a name for it. But, shop fabric out the front.
Right.
You don't need the word, unless you own a shop or a shop front fitter. You don't need to have a word for awning. It never comes up,
Right.
You never be like, oh, the shop with the awning. Because we're not living in the 1950s, to be fair. Who's got an awning these days? Barbers.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, though, since the removal of awnings, there's been more and more superheroes killed from falling from buildings.
It's true.
Because
they always used to land in the awning.
Yeah.
I was like, people still make jokes these days about, Superman, he used to have to, run in a phone box and change and stuff. And everybody thinks they're being so insightful when they make it. That joke's so old, they make fun of it in Superman the movie from 1979. Like, they are making fun of it in that movie. When he goes to change in the phone box, it's just one of those little, like, sideless kiosks, you know?
Right. How you been?
Well, I've been crazy busy this week. I am absolutely shattered. I managed to make the mistake of putting the heating on, and you know when you're tired and your house is warm, like that is medicine for sleep. You cannot stay awake warm. So just before I was supposed to do that, I was just finishing up my list of something we'll get to later. And going over it and stuff. And then I gradually became aware. I'd sent you a message saying, oh yeah, I should finish some stuff up and then I'll be right there. And then I was starting to fall asleep. And you know when you get to that point where you're starting to fall asleep and you know that you're not supposed to, but the bit that cares about being late for whatever you need has fallen asleep already. So you're sort of aware that it's a bad time to sleep, but like you don't mind and you're just going.
Right.
I was in that state. And I had to gradually be like, no, wait.
Supposed to be doing something.
Yeah, so I was actually borderline asleep a minute ago, and I'm feeling it a little bit. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I have had a crazy busy week, and then I went out today to a friend of mine. Their Wi-Fi went down, and they had to have an engineer round to fix it, but they couldn't be in the house. So it's my day off Mondays. And I had to go and sit and hang around someone's house for 2 hours waiting for an engineer. And then the engineer comes and be like, so, you're having some problems with your internet. Well, what's up with it? I have no idea. I'm literally just here to open the door. So I did that today, and then I walked home. And then because I knew I was going to be sat there, I took my Switch. And then I got halfway home and got a text saying, you forgot your Switch. So I had to walk all the way back. I don't live nearby, it's near enough that it's not worth getting the bus, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I had to walk all the way back, and then I had to walk all the way back again. And so yeah, I've had a week of days like that. Like every time I'm like, oh, do you know, this would be a perfect moment just to sit down and rest. Like my girlfriend will walk through and be like, are you supposed to be doing this in 5 minutes? Oh, you fucking... So other than that, it's been fine. I am tired and busy and 5 minutes ago I was asleep. So, hey, how you doing, John? I'm in a great mood. Well,
speaking of like temperatures, like we had a nice warm spell the last couple weeks, which was really, really welcome because we had a brutal winter. And
what do they call it? The Arctic something, the polar whatever.
Oh yeah, the Arctic vortex. Yeah, or polar vortex. Polar vortex, yeah.
Right.
And
which is like a grizzly vortex, except it's a little smaller and has white fur.
And it's endangered.
Yeah, just don't get me. You're not allowed to hunt the polar vortex anymore, like we did in the olden days.
You know it's coming because you can hear Sarah McLachlan on the wind. Just the wind blows in the arms of the angel. Like, oh shit, bundle up, kids.
You know, I hear Teddy Roosevelt used to have a pet polar vortex in the White House.
Well, yeah, the story behind that is that he found the polar vortex after a fire, ironically, clinging to a tree. It was. No, we had a nice little warm spell, and it was like, okay, this is nice and everything, and you can tell everyone was a little too excited for the warms because like immediately like you see everyone's walking around in like their nice spring jackets and a little bit lighter material, and people are like getting their grills out, and it just
man found frozen to death while assembling barbecue.
And gripping the brisket.
Hold on, honey, let me just defrost the charcoal. Do.
But the temperature dropped again the last couple of days, and I mean not horribly, not like we're not getting snowstorms or anything, but it got to the point where maybe you should throw the heavy jacket back on. But no one has. Like, you see everyone walk around in like these windbreaker stuff, clearly cold, just like, but like they're so like adamant that like, no, we're not going back. We're not going back to winter. It's fine. No, it's fine. Like, you cold? No. What are you talking about? It's nice. It's
like, bracing.
There's a region-wide bout of denial. Everyone is just no. What are you talking about?
Are you participating? Are you in your summer wear?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I say this as one of them. Like, I'm the shoulders hunched up, hands dug in the pocket, just stomping into work or whatever, and it's just like, it's not cold.
I have no capacity for that. I am always cold. I'm one of those people who, in summer, I will put the heating on and wear a snuggly jumper, and because I'd rather be too warm than too cold any day of the week. Like, well, you know, actually, this summer was pretty shit for that. We had that never-ending heat wave, but I will embrace the fact that I am cold and put on like extra layers at any time of the year because I hate being cold.
See, I'm generally kind of warmer. I'm a warmer person. Just like, I have a personality. I'm welcoming. I say hi to people, as opposed to Owen, who is a bitter, frigid human being.
John sounded like the human being equivalent of an old rug.
I'm comfortable. I'll be with you for a long time. And I won't let you down.
Plus, when he gets like sassy, you can take him outside and beat him with a stick.
Says I don't like that.
Well, that's why you are the old rug. Right. Rugs also like that.
See, in the chat says, Blah says, how are you guys here? Oh, never mind. Never mind.
What?
Blah says, how are you guys here in chat?
Oh,
not us.
Nobody loves us.
No, it's not like we're facilitating the chat or anything, or
dun dun dun. Rejected.
Yeah.
Denied.
Yeah, whatever.
Call it. Show's over.
Yep. It's over. But no, we have a plan today. We actually have a plan for the show. We're not just going to ramble.
A cunning plan.
Oh, yes.
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
One top 5 list at a time. That's right, folks. It is the top 5 of 2018.
Because we forgot to do it sooner.
Yep. If you guys remember, last year we did a top 5 of 2017. Ironically. Not ironically. Coincidentally. What? I don't know. There's a word.
We did it. Arbitrarily.
Yes, there's an adverb that would go with what we had done. And we just straight up forgot to do it this year. But it's never too late, because 2008 is still back there in the distance.
The long distance, 2008. It's quite a while away.
I said 18.
You said 8.
Fine. Well, okay, I'm sorry. You didn't do a top 5 of 2008?
I don't remember 2008. So I couldn't think of a single damn thing that happened in 2008. I should
scratch off Panic at the Disco.
You have no idea what my memory is like. I had to keep looking up to check if these things that I put on my list actually happened in 2018. Like, I can remember lots of things, but if you ask me when it happened, no, not a chance. Like, the one thing I can think of, 2008, would be the Beijing Olympics. That's it. That's the only thing I can connect to a year. Where they faked a footprint in fireworks for the opening ceremony. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
They said that they did the fireworks, but actually they just CGI'd them.
One second, I gotta turn my phone off.
The call was coming from inside the house. Get out! Have you checked the children? Sorry. I forgot for a moment you weren't a 1950s babysitter.
Oh, you remember that, but you can't remember 2008.
When a Stranger Calls, it's a classic. First encountered that story in I've told stories a little bit like this before, but That story's been adapted to quite a few movies over the years. Probably the most well-regarded is a film called Black Christmas, the original.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I saw that movie.
Very first slasher film as well.
Yeah. I saw that movie at the ripe old age of 7 after my father taped the film for me because he thought it was interesting how the lack of incidental music made it substantially more frightening.
Aren't you scared, little Owen? Aren't you terrified?
This is the film where a man lives inside an attic, picks off co-eds one by one, and at one point suffocates a girl using a dress bag. Like a vacuum pack dress bag. It's terrifying. Genuinely one of the most frightening movies I've ever seen. My dad was like this. He also taped me the first Mad Max movie. Like, I don't know how young I was. I must have been younger than 5 because my memory goes back that far. I don't remember seeing it for the first time. I asked him years later why he thought that was an appropriate film for, like, to tape for a child, and his response was, well, it was sort of different, wasn't it? Thanks, Dad.
Alright, just some things in the chat here. Let's see. Bot says, yeah, chat people came to chat here, not listen.
That's true.
Fair enough.
Sinister Minister, now you have to join the chat.
I refuse. I flatly refuse.
Never!
Go slum it with you people in the chat. Blah says, have you guys spoken about Love, Death, and Robots already? No, we haven't. I've heard about this.
It's like a Netflix show. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. I'm probably check it out soon, though. I've heard it's interesting. Mood Davis asked, when you say top five of what? 2018.
Anything of 2018. This is what we did last year. You'll
find out. This is.
It was really confusing last year because 2018 hadn't happened yet, so it was really difficult to do.
Right.
Sorry.
And now I have to defend myself because Tiny Best Secret says, God, John, every week. I'm sorry I'm popular. And since the minister asks, who has a landline these days? As Tiny Best Secret says, I do. That's right. I have a landline. In fact, I have a landline, but I do not have a working cell phone.
Well, and also, if you were referring to the Stranger Calls story, that would actually be more believable these days in the era of cell phones, wouldn't it? Because the thing about that thing in that classic story of, the call's coming from inside the house is that only works if you have a house with 2 separate lines. You can't phone yourself otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I still have the caller ID on my.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, that story, that works if your upstairs phone and your downstairs phone are separate phones. But most people who have an upstairs phone and a downstairs phone don't have 2 separate lines, do they? Usually, you can get them, but it's not that common. Whereas in the era of cell phones, everyone with a cell phone has a completely separate line, you know? So that you can still do that story.
Those locations right, you know?
He's coming from somewhere within the 2-mile vicinity of your house.
The call is coming from Topeka, but I'm in Wisconsin. Well, not according to the router.
After that Adnan Syed case was overturned from the hit podcast Serial, we don't want to tell you where we think he's coming from. Otherwise, we could be sued.
Basically says, why are you doing this in April? Because we forgot.
Oh, hey, what about this? Hold on, what about this? We've checked his Apple iCloud account, and he's coming from the same GPS location as you. Get out of the house! But he might also be outside.
He's at the same Pokestop as you. So catch that audition and get the fuck out of
here. That's great. Mind you, stuff like that did happen. Do you remember when those guys would put lures on at Pokestops and then mug people who turned up?
I mean, I don't mean to laugh at that, but that's...
yeah.
That's fucking funny.
Like, I just imagine the guy going like, doot, gonna catch me a Dragonite. Oh no!
Like, you know what I like to imagine is that he was part of a group of like really old school hardened criminals, you know? They're all getting ready for that night, you know, They're putting on their striped shirts and their ski masks, and they're grabbing their billy clubs and flapjacks, and it's like, wait, hold on. Do you guys want to try something new tonight? Just one night. Give me a shot. I have an idea. It may pay off.
Yeah, Billy, this new technology you bring in, you just don't know how we handle our thing.
What happened to the good old days where you walk up to someone, hit them in the back of the head, give them a concussion, steal their wallet, and you sneak away?
Oh, it goes, I remember how we used to do things back in the day. It cuts to like a flashback in the 1930s. It all looks like The Godfather, you know? And there's just like a little fountain in a public square. And they're like, get out there, Michael. And it's just like Al Pacino dressed as a Squirtle, like, do. Sure hope nobody catches me. Squirtle.
But it's nowadays Al Pacino.
Right.
Squirtle.
Sure nobody catches me. Squirtle. I did Shakespeare in the Park for this.
Screw this. I'm going to go do an Adam Sandler movie.
Say hello to my chocolate blend. As is his line from the hit film Jack and Jill.
Right. After he does the rap.
Yeah. That film's so bad.
Oh, it's horrible. So, yes. We should probably get into this.
Yeah, let's do it.
But first, hello, Chicken Lisa.
Hello, Chicken Lisa. How you doing?
Yeah,
some slander going on in the chat.
Oh, what?
Tiny Basica says, why are you doing this in April? Oh, was it Owen's responsibility to remember? No. This is John's idea. This is his thing. I'm happy to go along with it, but if he wants to do it every year, he needs to remember every year. I'm not taking any credit for this.
So when it becomes our best episode ever, it's all me, baby.
No, then I'll take some credit for this.
All me, baby.
You can have your moment on that one.
It's our top 5 of 2018, and this can be anything. It's an open season. We can do movies, we can do events from our lives, we can do any object of pop culture concepts, we can do vague metaphors, just whatever. It's just our top 5 of 2018.
All right. Who's going first?
You kick us off, Owen.
All right. Number 5, my number 5 of my top 5 of 2018 goes to Best Cursed Artifact.
Oh, is this the... Okay, go for it.
As you no doubt remember, the beginning of the end times was kicked off in 2018 when we uncovered a sealed 9-foot black sarcophagus in Egypt, sitting in a pit of bones and weird liquid. I followed this story intently because a little bit like the giant death bee a few weeks ago, it definitely seemed to be like a portent of the end times.
Which is something considering that we're both cynics and don't believe in revelations. But
sometimes you've got to learn when the universe is trying to send you a message, though, you know?
Right, I've already stripped naked and started carving runes into myself.
I mean, I was doing that before, but,
Oh, sure. Hipster Owen. I was carving runes into my skin before it was cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you do it after it's cool, that makes you very strange. Are you waiting a long time, too? Yeah, this was the news that we found a giant sarcophagus that was sealed. And they were trying to get people to open it. And then we found it in a big old pit, and that pit was, like, swimming in weird brown liquid and, like, bones and mummified remains.
Right.
And then there was a petition on a site to organize for someone to raise money to be paid to drink the fluid to see if it would give them life-altering mummy powers. As far as I know, no one basically took this. But, you know, it seems to me in 2019, we don't know how the end of the world will arrive.
Mm-hmm.
But this is clearly the starting point.
Right. This is the seventh seal. You know,
right.
This is...
And it will soon be followed by a plague of scarabs, and disease, famine, and possibly a sequel to that Tom Cruise mummy film. So,
and the return of InfoWars.
And the return of InfoWars. I think probably Alex Jones.
Alex Jones is trying to bottle it and sell it on his show.
as a brain aid.
Yeah. This is full neutronic probiotic. Old school throwback.
So that was my top. That was my number 5 of my top 5 of 2015. The cursed art of 2018. The cursed artifact, the sarcophagus that will bring about the end of the world. Because what more important thing could have happened in 2018? I only went in at number 5 because it's also sort of a bad thing.
Right. Time by Secret says, sure we do. Brexit. Now hold on. All right, I think you're projecting a little bit. Like, Brexit may be the end of your country and your livelihoods as we know it. We're gonna be fine. Everyone else is gonna be fine. So.
I mean, you're gonna be fine from Brexit, but the Egyptian sarcophagus is still coming.
Oh, right. I mean, we might lose out on our, I don't know. I mean, do you guys even export anything anymore?
No.
Yeah. So we're good.
We're like a financial country now. That's our business model.
Right. So yeah, there's Owen's number 5 of 2018, the Black Sarcophagus.
Well, if we're lucky, by the way, it will just produce, like, what was his name? Karras? The mummy from the old Universal movies. It's always just looking for his girlfriend. Right. Because, I mean, he was played by Lon Chaney Jr., so if we just sort of give him a bottle and, cozy him up a little bit, everything will be fine.
I mean, you have to imagine when that story first hit, like, Brendan Fraser was at home drinking down his 12th Michelob Ultra Light, just about to start in on that birthday cake, even though it wasn't his birthday. And all of a sudden he saw that, he goes, I'm back. He's like, because that's right. That's right for a new Mummy movie. Just pull it right from the headlines,
And then he left his house for the first time in about 6 months, and the sunlight was burning his eyes. I was like, oh god! And he walks to the store, and he was like, I want to capture the memories of days gone by. So he shuffles down gradually, crawling. Hair and skin peeling and falling out of him as it hits oxygen for the first time in a long time. Just sort of decaying as he walks down, till the point that he himself looks like a mummy. His face is sort of rotten and and his teeth have fallen out. Because I assume he can't afford vitamin C anymore. And he gets to his local DVD store.
Can't afford vitamin C.
He gets to his local DVD and video game store, only to find it shut down about 6 months ago. So he starts stopping passers-by in the street going, where can I find a mummy? No, but all they can hear is, Mummy! Mummy! And finally, someone shakily reaches into their pocket for their phone and shows them like a shameful purchase on Google Play Movies and TV of the Tom Cruise Mummy film. And the credits roll, and he hustles. It's dark by now, and he huddles around the screen, just the light glowing upon him slowly. And it comes up and it says, and it's got like the year of production that says starring Tom Cruise. And then there's his jaw detaches. He just goes, no! Brendan lost!
A bunch of flies come pouring out from his mouth.
Flying towards Tom Cruise. He just goes,
in the face of Brendan Fraser.
But not like old mummy Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser from like Bedazzled era.
Well, it's just a wave in the shape of Brendan Fraser, and it just goes, I was in traffic. Encino Man.
And then the guy with the things goes, the guy with the phone just taps him on the shoulder and be like, how long were those flies in there? But it's just a shell now, and it just sort of just like drops, fades away. And then just on the wind, as the dust blows away, just hear on the wind, Judge, Judge, Judge of the jungle.
To be fair to Brendan Fraser, I heard he's really good in Doom Patrol.
I love Brendan Fraser. I don't know why I just spent so long being so mean to him. He seems like such a nice guy.
Speaking of which, of that, man, not to get off the topic, but I heard that DC Direct stuff, that DC Universe stuff.
Not to get off the topic of decaying Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, because this is something I want to hang on to, you know? Fuck the rest of our list, just Brendan Fraser.
We don't want to detour from the husk of Brendan Fraser turning into flies to hassle Tom Cruise.
The top 5 Brendan Fraser of 2018. But no, I heard all that DC Universe stuff they're doing is actually pretty good.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So yeah, my number 5 of 2018 is I'm gonna keep it a little bit more grounded. It's
I don't know what you mean.
It's a video game. There's no horrible curse involved with it.
So we know it's not Anthem.
It's not Anthem, and that came out in 2019. But this is a game that both me and Owen enjoyed, and it, for me, it was a kind of a callback to simpler times in my life in terms of video game playing. But Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man.
That was a great game.
It was a really good game, and and I don't mean to harp on the whole idea of like games as service thing, because I think me and Owen have both enjoyed our fair share of these types of games, but Spider-Man was just a single-player, narrative-driven game, open world, where you just got to swing around and be freaking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really fun,
and learn how Dr. Octopus came to be for definitely the first time ever.
And I went on and played the 3 DLC packs, and those were all really fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a good time. And they finally, I think they waited till 2019 for this though, so I don't know if it counts. But they finally gave me my Future Foundation costume.
And the movie suit. Don't forget the movie suit, John.
Oh, fuck.
Don't forget the movie suit that we had to harass the developers to get, because it was worth it.
Or don't forget Puddlegate.
Puddlegate. For people who don't remember that, they showed a trailer for Spider-Man at E3, and it had a puddle in. And then when the game came out, the puddle was slightly smaller and moved a little bit further down. It was so funny because, like, you could not have been, like, you could not have been upset about the game graphically. Like, no, even if you don't have, like, the PS4 Pro, it's one of the nicest looking games I've ever played in my life.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
And it plays, like, it really captures, one of the things I think is amazing about it is, it's one of those few games that lives up to the promise of, it plays like the cutscenes look. So you play a cutscene and then you roll into gameplay and you're like flipping around doing combos, and when you're zipping around, you're zipping through scenery and stuff. So the gameplay looks as good as the cutscenes, and the range of what you can pull off in that gameplay is as broad and fun as the stuff you're doing in cutscenes. It's seamless.
Oh yeah, it's just an all-around good package. And the thing is what is nice about it is, because it's not a game as service sort of thing, when you're done with it, you can just be done with it.
Yeah.
There's no impotence to keep playing. It's not like, oh man, I can't stand playing this anymore, but I do one more raid and then I'll get that item and maybe that'll make me like the game more again. Or right. I need to unlock this next tier of challenges, or my friends are getting together to do this big event thing, and I guess, it's just like, okay, I'm good. Yep. I'm good.
And the end result was, I did everything in that game.
Yeah, exactly. I platinumed it.
Yeah. Another good thing about it.
It's the only game I've platinumed.
Another good thing about it is it sort of makes you realize, sort of in a way, how those games as services aren't designed with fun at the center. Because actually having skills and then over the course of like a 12-hour story, unlocking all those skills and just not having to grind up XP to unlock skills because they're trying to shill microtransactions on the back end, but just having like, okay, here's your suit, it comes with this power. Here's another suit, it comes with this power. Have at it, you know? Like, you're unlocking fun suits and fun new powers all the time in that game. And the only time you can buy extra suits and powers is when you are also buying a large piece of story content.
Right.
It doesn't feel... there are no microtransactions in this game at all. There's you know, they call it 3 pieces of DLC, but really it's one... It's really... like, you can buy them separately, but it's one piece of DLC released in 3 chapters. I would say it's one package.
Right, and it's substantial. You know, it's not like...
yeah.
Like, you get some of those DLC... or, I mean, DLC in general is kind of fallen away, right? It's
microtransactions now.
Yeah, but, like, this was, like, old school DLC, and... you know, there was definitely some DLC back in the day where it's like, oh, okay, I dropped my $10 to get this extra bit of content, and it's like, here's your shiny new skin, and here's a level, and it's a joke level, actually. It has no bearing on the real story at all, and didn't you want to see Commander Shepard jiggle his booty in his apartment? That makes no sense, and look, Tali has a hangover. Woo, good time.
Right.
You paid for this.
Whereas I would say the story in the city stories, I don't know if it's as long, but it's almost as long, all 3 together, as the main game, right? And it's like...
oh, I don't think it's that long.
Okay. It's not that much shorter, though, right? Like, it's
I would say probably 50. I would give it a good 50%.
Okay, fair enough. And it costs, what, like $15 total?
I don't remember. I actually don't remember how much it was.
It wasn't expensive, because I don't normally, like, buy a lot of DLC, like, and just go, yeah, I'm getting that. Mm-hmm. I didn't think the DLC was as good as the main game overall, I guess, but I still thought it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite running jokes in that entire game comes from the DLC. And it's in the second pack, when a major plot point is that these digging machines... are operating all the way through the city, and they have this highly technical name, and Spider-Man decides to start calling them Dig Boys.
Right.
And everyone else thinks this is a terrible name, and it keeps coming up how atrocious this name is.
To, like, the other, like, the criminals, like...
well, what did you call them?
What'd you... that's really dumb. I think my favorite joke from the DLC is when... Spider-Man has to try to tell Mary Jane that he might have fathered the Black Cat's child.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I mean, we were together. Gross. What do you mean, gross?
That game in general, the relationship Peter Parker and Mary Jane have in that game is one of the most, like, outside of maybe Nathan Drake and Elena.
Right.
That might be the best, like, real relationship I've ever seen in a video game. They are so believable. And, you know, and so many interesting choices with it. Like, really bold choice to start the game further into Peter Parker's career as Spider-Man. And still have, like, some characters have other origins, like Doc Ock. But mostly this is like Peter Parker's in his 20s, he's been Spider-Man for a while. And then he and Mary Jane have already broken up because of Spider-Man. Like, that is...
right.
And the pressure that put on the relationship. We open the game in a really interesting place. And not many games do that. Not many games just go, you know who Spider-Man is. You know the whole gist. Here's what's going on in his life right now and why that is interesting. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm sorry we missed this, but Moo Davis in the chat asked, did he play a frozen caveman that gets woken up in the 90s? Can't remember the film title. Yeah, back to Brendan Fraser. That's Encino Man.
He was in, like, a bunker, wasn't he? Or is that a different movie?
No, that was That was Blast from the Past.
Is that what that was called?
Yeah, that was with Alicia Silverstone.
Was that actually Brendan Fraser?
Yes, it was. Encino Man was him and Pauly Shore and Brian Aston. Where they basically Sam from Lord of the Rings and Pauly Shore find a frozen caveman, and they're both, stoner surfer dudes from SoCal. So,
oh, I do remember that one.
Yeah,
it always reminded me of that. What was that Pauly Shore movie where they?
They're all the same.
Sure, but you know the one where they're the one where they go to the Biodome. Was it just called Biodome?
Yep. Just him and one of the Baldwins.
There used to be a rumor about that movie, and from what I understand, it's not actually true. But for a long time, there was a rumor about that movie that it originally started off as Bill and Ted 3, and then Keanu Reeves and what's his name, Alex Winter dropped out.
Yeah.
And then it's actually not true. And I'm glad, because I like both those movies, and I don't want to believe Biodome had any connection to them. If you've never seen Biodome, watch
terrible.
it. It's so bad. I saw a really good movie today, by the way, and when we finish our top 10 lists, remind me to mention it.
Okay.
Top 5 lists.
Top 5.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on?
Yep.
Okay. My next one is best advertisement for amnesia pills. And this goes to the news that Donald Trump's penis looks like the little mushroom from Mario Kart. Which never never before in my life have I wanted amnesia medication to exist so much. I actually done my research on this one for the show. I have found out that recently there's been a discovery that certain types of antihistamines or sleeping medication that passes the blood-brain barrier is actually capable of softening the memories. Actually are stored physically in a way in your brain, and they're recorded in a way where they become more permanent the more often you access them. And when you're young, they're more pliable. When you're accessing them, they're pliable, but then they sort of harden as they become more firm and established in your brain. And
firm and hard talk.
If you take this particular medication, I think it's Benadryl, the one that's in Nitol and things like that. Yeah. What it actually does is it makes the memories more pliable. So if you take the medication and you actually access it, so don't go taking Benadryl without a doctor's consult, by the way. But if you take Benadryl while basically accessing the memory in a context where you can put it in a non-traumatic state, it can actually sort of genuinely erase the traumatic memory. I would need a container of Benadryl the size of a bathtub to begin to soften the traumatic memories I have acquired from learning that Trump has a penis shaped like Toad from Mario Kart. Yeah. It's why I didn't buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Well, that's the problem. Like, someday you will play another Mario Kart, and you might have repressed these memories or pliable them away.
But there's all new ones to be made.
You're gonna see Toad. And it's just gonna be like Vietnam flashbacks. You're gonna zone out into the negative space, and you're just gonna hear, "There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear." Marines, we are leaving. Oh God! Sorry, I was back in Da Nang, and just there it is, right there in forefront, Trump dick.
And even though I wasn't alive in the '60s, all I'll be able to hear is just din 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 Do, 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 do. And yeah. Yeah.
I ain't a fortunate boy.
What's really annoying is I'm not even that fond of like mushrooms in any context. So this is like a double dislike for me, you know? And also, I would say, like, Toad, not one of the best Mario Kart races, right? Nobody's favorite's Toad, right?
No, I hope not.
And I think Trump could have really, you know, done something to show that he was in touch with the people by having a penis shaped more like Birdo.
Oh, that'd be horrifying.
Sorry, did I say more like? I meant exactly like. But not Mario Kart Birdo, Super Mario Bros. 2 Birdo.
Just, no, I don't want to imagine the idea that Trump's penis can inhale anything. You know.
But the other thing is that, like, the crucial thing about this is, it shouldn't be Birdo colored. It should still be like penis flesh color, but shaped like Birdo.
The problem is that you would always know when Trump like ejaculated because from the White House would be a slow moving egg. Quick, jump on it. You can throw it back. I ain't doing that. Do it. It's the only way you defeat him.
I mean, I think probably that's what happens already, you know?
It's just poor Melania trying to dodge eggs. Or
either that or just a cloud of dust. You know, like when gymnasts chalk up and then they clap their hands? Like, you know, trapeze artists? That's how I see it.
I was like, in Sekiro, you have the pocket sand that you can throw in people's eyes. Oh, no.
Yeah. What's your next one? I don't have that much to say about that one.
Okay. Well, mine, I'm going to move on from video games to another piece of pop culture entertainment.
Oh, we made very different lists this year.
We do. And mine is a movie that stars some of the biggest actors in Hollywood. It was a massive film, a huge event.
Is it big?
Is what?
Is it big?
No. 2018.
Yeah, I watched it in 2018.
But no, this is a film that I think a lot of people went and saw. It was, you couldn't escape it. You really could not escape this film. And I'm pretty sure, surely we're getting the follow-up. I think we all know that. And all
right, where's this going?
I saw a movie called Destination Wedding.
Destination Wedding. Did we talk about this on the show? Because I'm drawing a blank.
We may have mentioned it once. But it was a movie starring Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. And so, I mean, the film I thought was fine. It's whatever. But it wasn't so much a movie as like a very loose premise that gives Keanu Reeves' character and Winona Ryder's character the opportunity to just rant at each other about all their like weird opinions about life, like love and relationships and sex and politics and the weird consumerism of weddings. And so this movie was really, really strange in the fact that these two characters are literally the only ones who have any dialogue in the whole film. And
makes sense.
The whole movie is just one series of events after another that puts these two in a situation that allows them to just talk at each other. And whatever, that's fine. The reason this is on my list is...
And you didn't like the trip.
Well, no, they don't. And that's a running plot point, as they hate the fact that they had to go to a destination wedding. But I'm watching this, and have you ever had a moment where you're watching a film and it kind of hits a little too close to home?
Oh, sure. That's why I can't watch Goodfellas.
Right, because of the FBI. You know, they've instructed you not to watch that movie.
The Vanilla Ice movie.
Little as people know, Owen was a rapper from the 90s.
Yeah, I've left that past behind. Don't go dredging up things you can't put back in that box.
Look, I'm just saying, I'm not saying who Owen was in the 90s, but I'm saying that, you know, that little running bit that we have about Snow, it comes off a little too organically from Owen. I'm just saying.
Dude, don't be a informer.
I mean, I don't think I would. I might be an informant, but just...
The Informer sounds more like a newspaper, which I just assume that's, you know.
I'm sure it is. But no, so...
Yes, I used to pretend to be Jamaican.
There's a moment in Destination Wedding where they're talking about like relationships and like why it just doesn't make sense anymore for people to be in like committed relationships or to label themselves as boyfriend and girlfriend and the whole thing. And I'm watching this and I realize that some of the points that they're making are points that I have made in the past. Like when I was in my mode about like, okay, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'll just have, you know, casual relationships and stuff like that, and have to try to explain to people in like beforehand, like why I want to do it this way. And I'm watching this. I'm like, oh no, like, do I really sound this boned up when I'm trying to explain this? Fuck. Just like it was a far too real of a like glimpse into what my future may hold. And I was just like, time to make some changes. Like it was like, I think like a lot of people would see a movie like, I don't know, X or Philadelphia or Traffic, like we mentioned before. You know, these movies that are like designed to be like, hey, you should think about things and like how you're looking at things and, you know, maybe make a change, be a better person. Mine was Destination Wedding. I was just like, oh no.
Mine was the Jack Nicholson movie, As Good as It Gets.
I mean, this is very similar. This is very, very similar.
I wasn't even kidding. That one hit. That was too close.
Right. Here, I will look up the trailer, Dustin, and I'll send it to you, and maybe you get a glimpse of what I'm talking about.
All right. Okay. Well, so the movie made you a better person. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if I've made it there yet, but
the movie made you hate yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I had to really, really think about things. Just like, let's see here.
Blaj in the chat said, "Oh, hold on, that's not aimed at me. Oh, that's an old message too." But hi, Blaj. Hope you're well. Nice to see you still there. All right. We ready for the next one, or do you have more to say about the movie?
Well, okay, here I found the trailer. I will send this trailer to you, and I'll drop it in the chat as well.
Okay. You want me to watch it now?
Sure. Why not? Well, I mean, we're talking about it, so you might as well watch it now.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Oh, not what I wanted to do. Oh, Skype is so weird to navigate sometimes.
Just pop it in the chat and I'll get it from that link.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I sent it to you one. Because I have to open the chat on...
I'm still going to wait for you to send it through the chat.
Sure.
Fully professional show going on here. Do, 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 do. Enjoy watching us listen to John posting some links. This is what it's all about.
Here we go. Link in the chat.
All right, let's do this.
All right, so everyone enjoy.
You'll be able to hear my audio of this.
Thank you. I like your jacket.
Thanks. Our flight's on time.
Oh, it is.
Great.
I'm sorry, what was that?
What?
You just took a step forward there.
I did.
Yeah, you did. You know you did. And what's funny is there's no way you can board first because the only way you can board first is if you have a special need. Do you have a special need?
Yes. I need to be over there.
This looks pretty fun.
Going to the destination wedding.
Please don't tell me it's Keith.
So we're just the people you don't know where to stick.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to John and I listen to a movie trailer.
Person you don't know where to stick.
Keep entertaining the audience while I watch this, John.
Well, yeah, I'm listening to it, so it's hard to not.
I believe that there's nobody for anyone. I don't understand.
This is a different sort of role for Keanu Reeves.
You know, the funny thing is, I really like Keanu Reeves, but I legitimately like him best in weird, like, romantic comedy movies.
I like him in different things. Have you ever seen Parenthood?
No.
That is a really good movie, and I really recommend you watch it. I think you'd like it as it's an old Steve Martin movie, but it's an ensemble cast. I think you would like it.
Oh, wait, does he play like a doctor?
He may be. What? Who? Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
No, Keanu Reeves is the teenage daughter's idiot boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
It's really good. It's really, really good, actually. Oh, that looks really fun. If you've never seen Parenthood, it's really great. It's about a big family who all have different relationships with their kids and parenting. And Steve Martin plays a character whose dad was this shitty absentee father who's so desperate to have, like, happy, healthy children that he becomes sort of too desperate to have happy, healthy children, and his kids end up kind of pathetic.
Oh, fair enough.
And then Rick Moranis is married to... Funnily enough, Rick Moranis, if I remember rightly, he's married to the same actress he's married to in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, whose name I can never remember. And they
it's a shared
have...
universe.
Pardon?
It's a shared universe, then.
Not exactly. They don't play the same characters, but that would be great. And, like, their arc is she really wants to have another kid, but their kid's, like, really smart. They're the kind of parents who are like, oh, yeah, we were, like, training them up on Mozart to try and, you know what I mean? They're like, the desperate to have a gifted kid.
Right.
But they had a discussion that, like, just have one, because if you have one, you can give them the most attention, and if you have seconds, you're diverting the attention. Then she starts to want to have a second kid, and he doesn't want to, and then there's other stuff, like, the younger brother of the family gets himself involved in crime, and he's the one who, like, Steve Martin's dad, the generation above, is always bailing him out, always lending him money, all that stuff, you know? So it's about all these different generations of parents and parenting, but it's a sort of an ensemble cast comedy. Big cast. But it's great. It's a really good film. Really enjoyable, different, surprisingly well made. Ron Howard directed it. Funnily enough, they recently made a TV show based on it. It ran for about 5 years, I think. It was good. The film, I haven't seen the show.
See here, Blas says, P.S. Yeah, I would recommend that you guys watch Love, Death, and Robos, maybe 2 episodes to decide if you wish to continue, and talk about them. And Wedding, or Destination Wedding, is not on Netflix. That's too bad. It's a good movie. I actually really liked it. And yeah, I'd be okay of checking out Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. So on to number 3. Where are you at?
Oh, okay. My best politics can't get any worse moment. There's a trend here. This was, for me, this year was in a year of really, well, in a decade, it feels like, of really terrible, like, political low moments. My highlight this year of the political situation around the world was Britain giving a contract to a ferry company to deal with extra ferries and stuff during Brexit, to a company that didn't own any boats and had never run a shipping thing before, and appeared to have been hastily set up in order to win the contract. And it turned out they'd copied their terms and conditions on their website from a takeaway website. So the legal bump on their page, constantly referring to things like, if your food hasn't arrived on time, file a complaint in order to return your order, which was great. And so Brexit been kind of a mess. Trump and all that, kind of a mess. The political situation is sort of a nightmare, but there was like a little spot of joyful incompetence. So bad you can't help but laugh in the middle of it all. I don't have too much to say about it, except that Brexit is terrible, and this was one of those moments where you were neatly reminded that it wasn't just incompetence, but good old-fashioned corruption, too.
Fair enough.
I don't have much to say about that one, but it made my list.
No, I remember when this happened. It was. I mean, from an outsider point of view, there's a lot of been really funny things about Netflix. You know,
about Netflix.
I mean, Brexit. It's a dumb name. It's a really dumb name.
Well, I mean, it's not an official name, to be fair.
No, I understand.
Blame the
that.
press.
Right. But still, it's that was one of the ones where it's just like, when that happened, like you would hope that like reason would just settle back into people's mind and go, okay, let's just not do this. Like we've gone too far.
Right. We now have shipping companies with no ships.
Right. But no, you guys just kept on persevering forward, and now we got people stripping during debates. We have.
Oh yeah, that was today. That was great.
That happened today?
Oh yeah. Well, so it wasn't exactly Brexit. A group of protesters for an environmental group who feel that with all the talk about Brexit, people have stopped talking about the environment that needs talking about. Stripped naked and glued themselves to the glass in Parliament.
Glued themselves?
Yeah, they super glued their naked bodies to some glass to lick up.
I mean, good on them for, I guess, being
they weren't
committed.
making that particular environment much better.
Right. It's like, great. Now we have to scrub this down.
Yeah. Well, the best thing was politicians who were actually in Parliament at the time tweeting pictures, being like, "Hey, look what's going on here! Naked glued people." You just know that somewhere there's like a Yahoo group or like a Reddit community that's like, okay, we'll say we're doing it for the environment. This is gonna feel so good. Look at us. Oh, we care about the ozone layer. Oh, look, we're all sticky. Oh yeah, we're so political.
Do it for the whales.
Oh,
the whales.
We're engaged youth.
We're
You're 42.
woke. Blah says, I wish you all a nice evening, long day. GN, good night.
See you later, Blush. Sleep well, my friend.
Thanks for dropping. And, yeah. No, I was referring to, what was it? Boris Johnson's sister?
Oh, yeah, that was an interesting one, too. And the lady before that, the woman from Cambridge who strips off in debates. A lot of naked debating, stripping people lately.
Like, is that like the dark secret of like debate club? Like, okay, look, here's the deal.
We're having orgies, but
we don't teach this to everyone. But if you're losing a debate, just get naked.
It's a secret world. It's like that old Saturday Night Live sketch where Eddie Murphy wears the makeup as a white person. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. Okay.
And then he finds out that white people just give everything to each other for free when there's no black people around. It was a good sketch.
Mm-hmm.
Who told him, hey? Who spilled the beans?
Right. All right. Moving on to my number 3. So this is a discovered hobby of mine. Something I had not tried before last year. And some of you might actually know what this is. I did a couple of videos about this. But I took up kayaking.
Oh, was that only last year?
Yeah, that was only last year. I didn't really think about it, but it was definitely only last year.
It feels like you've been like a boat person for a long time.
You one of them boat people.
Yeah, sort of like a transformer, you know?
And by the way,
Kayakimus Prime.
If you're in the chat and you're enjoying what you're hearing, make sure you give a like.
Yeah, do.
Boost up those numbers. I want to see those thumbs in the sky. But yeah, I took up kayaking, which was kind of a weird thing because like I've never been much of an outdoorsy kind of guy. Like I'm competent when it comes to that sort of stuff just by like need, but for the most part, yeah, I've always kind of lived a very domestic lifestyle.
You know, Bear Grylls, is that what you're saying?
Right, exactly. But
he has grilled a few bears.
Like
where are the bodies hidden?
I definitely haven't, drank my own piss, for survival.
He says it's for survival.
For enjoyment.
But it always seems to come back there, doesn't it? No, Bear, seriously, we've got water. Oh, what? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I was just too busy surviving over here.
Yeah, 1:16 p.m. It's a very good minute. It's good vintage.
Right.
But, like, you don't have to, like, go right at it. We have, like, sugar cubes. We have flavorings and stuff you can maybe add to it. Give it a chance to sort of cool down, mix it in. You expect me to drink cold piss? Is that what you're talking about?
You guys are sick. Just... What the fuck's wrong with you people? But no, I just decided one day, I'm like, you know what? Like, I should try kayaking. And so I borrowed a kayak from a friend and gave it out. And like, you know what? This was pretty fun. So the next week I just went out and bought a kayak and started going just about every weekend after that. Until it got too cold.
Even then, you could see him out there pushing himself across the ice.
just sliding up to my kayak. Bear Grylls. Just can I piss? No, go away. But no, I really enjoyed it, and like, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I was for the love of nature and everything like that. I'm definitely not that kind of guy, but there was something really nice about I would always go super early in the morning, about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would set out. It was super quiet. I usually had some headphones on, listening to music because fuck nature noises. Who cares? You hear one Tweety bird, and you've heard them all.
You hear one desperate cry of you're heading to a waterfall. You get bored of the sound.
Right. Just, heard it.
One, dear God, help me, I'm drowning. I can't swim. You in the kayak. Yes, you, please. You're very close. Just reach out a hand. No, I have a family. They need me. Water's disappearing down my wind passage. Is it you, Jonathan?
I'm a millionaire. I can pay you. I will pay you. Please, you can have all my money. Just save me, God. You monster. You horrible, horrible monster. Just.
Listen to my music.
My eyes and I saw the sign. Now I'm gonna drag you up when you come to the light where you belong.
I do like the idea. I mean, I've known John a long time, but I have to say, my favorite way to think of him is sort of with headphones in, obliviously responsible for many deaths. It's the thing that it seems to fit what I know about him the most.
Are you suggesting that I'm a chaotic human being? Just.
Well, I mean, I'm suggesting that people around you are involved in chaos. You're actually quite a tranquil human being.
Right. Well, now we know you're full of shit, because I am not. I am not a tranquil human being.
But no, deadly. Deadly he is.
Yeah, I'm a walking disaster. For
You know that
sure.
guy from the Police Academy movies who causes accidents wherever he goes, but is sort of oblivious of them?
What was like that video for Green Day, the Walking Contradiction or something like that?
I'm thinking like a kayaking Inspector Clouseau, but with more deaths.
just paddling away, and Kato comes out of nowhere.
From the water, dressed as a gator.
No, just from the sky, dressed as an eagle. Just
Inspector Clouseau's residence.
Hamburger. Sorry.
No, not that one. No, we don't go to that Pink Panther movie.
No, there's only one true Inspector Clouseau, and it's Steve Martin.
No!
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do this to me?
Oh, yeah.
I can't bear the pain of the suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when Roger Moore played Inspector Clouseau?
I did not know that.
There's an Inspector Clouseau movie, and it was after wasn't it, Peter Sellers died. And the plot is that a young detective is trying to find Clouseau who's gone missing. And so it's a Clouseau movie without Clouseau, basically. And then over the course of the movie, he gradually finds hints that Clouseau's had plastic surgery and just basically faked his own death. And then at the very end of the movie, he thinks he's tracked down Clouseau, and when he gets in, it's Roger Moore. And he's very starstruck, like, oh wow, like Roger Moore. But then as it goes on, it's Roger Moore playing Clouseau. And you gradually realize that Clouseau's had plastic surgery to make himself look exactly like Roger Moore. And that's how they said goodbye to that character, which is weird, quite funny, I think. It was alright.
Yeah, sounds alright.
Still better than Steve fucking Martin.
You know who I really feel for in that movie? Is Jean Reno.
Right. Brilliant actor, Jean Reno.
All right.
There used to be a comedic character in Britain called Dennis Pennis. And he was a very early example of he was played by Paul Kaye, who's gone on to lots of other stuff, but he was a very early example of tricking celebrities into being interviewed inauthentically, rudely, you know? So he would go to red carpet interviews, things like that, and then just ask questions that were very, like, inappropriate or were very rude, but it was a time when people weren't really doing that, you know? And there's a clip of him, like, coming up to Steve Martin outside, and Steve Martin's clearly not that interested, but he says, "Hey, Steve! And when Steve Martin finally stops, he says, "Steve, how come you're not funny anymore?"
Oh my god.
And Steve Martin cancelled a tour after that. And I love Steve Martin, but that always makes me laugh. That a guy called Dennis Pennis, with glasses and bright red hair and a horrible voice, deliberately like a character that's just supposed to be antagonized, and just supposed to antagonize people, came up to him and said, "Steve, why aren't you funny anymore?" And he canceled the tour because of it. He was like, "Oh, he's got my number. My time is up."
You know what? To hell with comedy. I'm gonna go play the banjo.
That was the beginning of the end for him.
By the way.
Yeah, I like Steve Martin. I like his music and things. I just think that's really funny. Yeah.
So yeah, kayaking. That was my number 3. It's an enjoyable thing. I'm gonna pick it up here soon, and probably within a month when the water finally warms up a little bit. But yeah, like I have, like this is the thing. I've never once thought about like doing this before I start kayaking, but I've been thinking it'd be nice to do like a weird, like overnight excursion sort of thing. Because like I live right by a damn river, and there's boat landings.
This is another of those moments where we're setting up a horror movie.
But it'd be fun. Like for me, it'd be fun to just hop on the kayak and like I know there's campgrounds along the river, and there's actually like sandbars that you're allowed to camp on and stuff. And
it would be a Peter Benchley, you know, because he did like all the naval, like, the deep sea ones, Jaws, The Deep. That would be his next one. Peter Benchley's The Kayak.
Okay, I'm being attacked by a vicious kayak. Just as I'm going down the river, just always in the peripheral in the distance, you see this.
We're gonna need a bigger kayak. Oh no! Why do we get the bigger kayak? They're working together now.
They've joined forces. We need a kayak that's twice as big as both of them combined. Oh no! Now there's 3 of them.
I think Peter Benchley would be into that. I think he would do that.
By the end of it, it's just me leading an army of kayaks.
By the end of it, it's just a shot of planet Earth wearing a giant kayak like a hat.
Go forth, my children. Go.
Heading out into space. No, sounds good.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be a good time. Let's see here in the chat. A lot of LOLs going on in the chat, so we're obviously very funny. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
For letting us know that we're hilarious human beings.
Hello to AJ, by the way.
Number 2, Owen. What's number 2?
Oh, my number 2 is Best Surprise Awkward.
Okay.
Which goes to Sony's 2018 E3 presentation. Which is, for some reason, has stuck in my mind as one of my favorite moments of 2018.
We watched that together.
Yeah. Is that all you were saying through laughter? We did. Well done, John. Yeah, we did, buddy.
No, I remember clearly one of us saying, did they drag all these reporters to a barn?
Right, because the beginning was somewhere quite different.
Right.
Yeah, the E3 2018 showcase, as they called it, was a really interesting thing for Sony because it was a really interesting mix of some of the best trailers for some of the best looking games. Funnily enough, I'm really enjoying Sekiro at the moment, and I think we had a trailer for that in that show. It wasn't a Microsoft one.
I think it was that one.
But there was the other samurai game too, you know? A lot of good-looking games.
Shadows of...
Something. Sherpa-derpa-derps.
Yeah, Shadow.
Some good-looking games, and some really fun stuff, combined with, like, the worst, weirdest press conference acting in the world. Entirely centered around a pretend panel that was entirely scripted. It was weird. It was uncomfortable.
Oh, that bit. Okay.
Oh, the bomb bit too. But you remember that? Yes. Where they had all these people sat around a table, and they were saying, like, hey, so what did you think, Steve, head of marketing for Sony? Well, I think it was a real good presentation, Greg. I was up all night writing it.
Yeah, it was really something else. Like, you know, I was blown away. I wasn't expecting half of that. Really? Really? Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's another one where I don't have, like, a huge amount to say, but it really has stuck in my mind. I
wish one of those guys just would have said, you know what? I don't see myself having a career in video games. I'm going off script. Just going, yeah, Jim, what do you think of this? Fucking sucked.
I don't even like games. Kids should get out more. You know,
did you see that Days Gone? What the hell is that shit?
We're really wasting the lives of America's youth. You ever play Tetris? You know, I was thinking about this, Steve. You know the guy who made Tetris made a sequel to Tetris? You know what it's called? Hatris. You stacked hats in it. Why do we make games like that anymore? You ever played Hatris, Steve? You played Hatris? You stack hats. It was a sequel to Tetris made by the same guy. And, you know, I just the hats. You know, why aren't we making games like that? Why aren't we making games stacking hats? Why isn't there a sequel to, you know, Ratchet and Clank involve more hats?
I would have liked this. So, what do you think about the lineup? I thought it was so. Now, you see Nintendo's lineup?
Whoa!
just like, holy shit, man! They're bringing everything to the Switch. Like, they got Dark Souls on the Switch coming. It's like, oh, right. From Software, which we have Sekiro coming to PS4. Yeah, fuck that, dude. We got Dark Souls.
They got the original
on the Switch
on a handheld.
Right? I mean, that's crazy.
And then there's that weird leak coming out today that the PlayStation 4 controller is going to have like a touchscreen in. They showed these designs.
I saw that.
They looked atrocious. I don't want to hold that thing.
Like, it's completely portable, so I can play my games on that little screen. No, but you can take the controller with you.
You can watch someone else playing your games on it.
Although, I mean, I could see that having some fun implications.
It's a Sony McSwitchy. It's good thing.
Like, I could see it be really fun for, like, I don't know, if you were doing like couch co-op and some of that, and it's like, oh, you're supposed to target one player, and then like it says on your controller, like, oh, it's player 4 or something like that.
It'll also be handy for things like put ammo on it, you know.
Max, things like that. I can see it being somewhat fun, but
I'm just gonna say it.
It makes it gimmicky.
Sony, Microsoft, don't be too proud, you know? Don't be too proud. Just go make a Switch. Just do it.
Go make a Switch.
Yeah, make it a...
And don't call it anything other than that. Just call it the Sony Switch.
The Sony Switch.
Microsoft Switch.
Yeah, basically. Just this is just one of those moments, like dual analog sticks, like controller vibration, like, you know, this is one of those moments where you should just go, what if we just copied exactly what Nintendo's doing? Because what they're doing is better. And yeah, I get it. It means the consoles won't get more powerful next generation because you got to go to handhelds. But then everyone's all sort of caught up, and then you go back to power. You know what I mean? Just go make a Switch.
It's like Phil Spencer to unveil the newest game. Hello, everyone. I want to let you all know that we're very excited to bring you Halo Breath of the Wild.
The problem is, if Sony went away to make a Switch, you know exactly what they do. They'd be like, okay, yeah, it's pretty much exactly like a Switch, except it's got 256 megs of internal storage. You've got to buy our exclusive memory cards. And it doesn't come with any of those side controllers. You've got to use a DualShock 4. Mm-hmm. And then Microsoft would go, we've got a Switch. It's got a 23-inch screen, and it fits into a dock the size of an elephant. And
it weighs 53 pounds.
It comes with 2 Sherpas who will carry it from room to room.
No, that's if you get the Xbox Switch X. Those come with the Sherpas. Okay. Fully customizable. They come with.
All right, does it run lots of great games? No, it runs Windows 10. It runs on Windows 10, and it only runs Windows 10 compatible apps. So it's got VLC on it, and Forza Horizon 4.
That'd be alright.
Market research tells us Microsoft customers want bigger screens on their portable handhelds.
And poor Sony would just be like, oh yeah, and we're going to introduce a new video format for this. It doesn't come with, just digital download movies. Hell no!
It's an optical disc inside a cartridge. Well, like the PSP? No. Oh, you mean like the mini disc? No. We're calling it the Sony Switch disc. The SS disc. Wait. What? The SS disc. Wait. So is there something wrong with that? It's a bit fashy. What?
It's like, yes, welcome to the Sony Switch, or as we refer to it, the SS. Everyone, hail the SS.
Available now in an exclusive brown carry bag.
With stylistic red emblem on the front.
You power it up. What? Is that Deutschland? No. It's a special.
We will prevail through the will of the nation.
Also,
Sony PlayStation players.
We've got a special Call of Duty edition with an interesting twist we think will blow your mind.
I don't want to
know. Yeah, you bored of playing as the Allies? How about seeing World War II from a different perspective? Only on the Sony SS.
Look, we feel like the handheld market has had a lot of problems lately, and so we propose our final solution.
Mind you, we have seen a lot of interest in this console from important influencers like PewDiePie.
Bro fist. Just...
But it's a bro fist inside like a circle with a black cross around it on a red flag.
Sony's like, 1 year later, what? That's their whole press release. What? We didn't know.
They told us it was ironic.
Look, we specifically we sought out the most vocal people on the internet to help us design this console. All right,
we spoke to YouTubers from far and wide. This is what they told us they wanted.
Look, we wanted the right answers, so we sought out groups that call themselves the fucking alt-right.
Always right.
Yeah. We thought it was all right, not alt-right. Don't speak English very well. Just.
So what's your number two?
Number two is, oddly enough, a service. It's a number that I read on the back of a newspaper, and oh man, I've been happy, been broke, but I've been happy. No, not that kind of service.
Get your X-ray specs.
Oh, you don't need to see through clothes with this service. No, this actually happened exactly the same time that I got Spider-Man, because my copy of Spider-Man, unlike Owen's, came with a code inside for 1 month free of Marvel Unlimited, which I cashed in and used, and actually fell in love with the service. And I still pay for it.
Now.
I still pay for it every month, $10. And it's great. Like it's a really, really great service. If you are a comic book fan and you're not so worried about being completely like up to date.
Oh, see, that's not for me. See, I've got to be up on all my books.
Yeah, you're on the cutting edge.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, it's a service you pay, and you basically have access to their entire library of comics. The only thing you don't get is the most current 6 months of a comic, so you're always 6 issues behind.
Okay, well, that's not so bad.
No, it's really not, but you can, like, for me, I've been loving going back and reading whole runs of comics from like 10, 15 years ago, and and revisiting the ones I really liked, and like, oh, I missed out on this tie-in, I missed out on It's been great for like event comics, because they actually there is a searchable category for just events, right? So
it does sound like a really fun service. I don't.
Yeah,
I think it wasn't just a case of a code. I don't think it's like properly out in the UK, but I could be wrong.
Maybe not, but yeah, like you can go to their events tab and they'll have, oh, here's Civil War, Civil War 2, Secret Wars, and even like little events that you didn't realize that were like a thing. Like I read this series that was, it was in Doctor Strange, Iron Fist, and Scarlet Spider. It was a crossover with those three.
Ah, those common compadres.
Right, yeah, like, oh yeah, the big heavy hitters of the Marvel universe, you know. And yeah, it was called Damnation. I read it. It was fun. It was a fun comic. It wasn't great, but it was fun. And yeah, it's been a really, really nice way to engage. And like their format's really well, because I usually read my comics on my phone now. And their guided view, you know, sort of thing works really, really well on the phone. It's on par, if not a little bit better than Comixology's.
Well, that's great. I won't lie. This is a service that I would like to have. The thing is, I can't really justify another subscription service at the moment.
Right.
But
like,
it's one I know if I bought it, I would use it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact I would use it because I love reading comics. And the thing that usually stops me reading comics is I run out of comics. I run out of like comics I've budgeted for.
Right.
And then like too soon, I read them faster than I can afford to buy them. So eventually I'll catch up with like, okay, I bought a bundle of comics to read for a while. I've read them all. And I have to wait until I can buy some more. And then by that time, I don't... And then I forget, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, it is in the UK now, but it's $10.
Mm-hmm.
Scandalous. I want $10.
Well, I mean, for me, it's pretty easy to justify. Because, like, a comic book over here, especially Marvel, because Marvel's comics are a little bit more expensive than DC's. They're usually $3.99 to $4.99 a comic over here.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's like, well, if I read 3 comics on this service, I've already paid for it in a weird way.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, and on average, I probably read like 10 or 20 a month on this service. And so, I mean, we're talking like $10 a month, and it's like I usually read probably close to like $100 worth of comics on the service a month, and it's only $10. So.
Yeah, and then an annual subscription is like $70. So.
Right.
Like for me, that's about £53. I see. That's the thing is, it's a lot to put down once, but then it's really not. You know,
I think you get like more features too if you buy that annual subscription.
Well, they also have that annual plus one, but that annual plus one's like some one-off collectibles, which is lame.
Yeah, that's not for me. I imagine there's some people who really like that stuff. You know, 'cause I've seen some of those collectibles. It's like, oh, here's a cool pin, or like a pint glass, or a limited edition like lithograph, or stuff like that. And I'm sure some
weird.
people.
So while we were reading this, I just ended up loading up my Comixology, and apparently I own the first 2 volumes of the Riri Williams Iron Man run, but I've never read them. I don't remember buying them. Sorry, that's strange.
Good. They're good.
Yeah, well, that's probably why I bought them. I was seeing them in a sale. I mean, like, yeah, I'll buy those and I'll get to them, and then just completely forgot them.
Oh god, I bought a comic on Comixology the other day for a very specific reason that I've told Owen about that. Not gonna go into here, but
was it masturbating?
No, God, but it wasn't good. Oh man, it wasn't good. So it's gonna be interesting for me what I gotta do next, but it wasn't good. But yeah, that was my number 2. So here we are, the big Uno, the big number 1.
Oh, okay. This is my turn, isn't it? Okay, here's mine. Best Infinity War. Which goes to Infinity War.
But not the movie. It's
a war that lasts. No, it is the movie.
It was a one-man show down the street by a hobo.
I really enjoyed the film. Disney's Marvel's Avengers 3 Infinity War, based on a comic by Marvel owned by Disney, the movie.
The subtitle, Ant-Man is not inside of Thanos' anus. Please let that go. Please let that go.
I really enjoyed this film, and we talked about it a lot. It was a culmination of, like, I have no shame about the fact that I like superhero movies, particularly the MCU movies, which it's become very trendy these days to be like, oh, well, yeah, but everybody's so sick of superhero movies are done now. But as far as I'm concerned, Marvel's managed to do with superhero movies what the comics have been doing for years, which is turn them into a property that doesn't need to realistically end so long as they continue to be good. And so far, they do continue to be good. My interest will probably start to wane eventually, because they'll probably stop being good eventually. But this is the culmination of everything they've been doing up to this point. I loved it, and if I stopped and thought about what my favorite thing in 2018 was, as a very sad nerd who lives vicariously through media, it was Avengers Infinity War.
That's the saddest group of qualifiers I've ever heard.
I really liked it. I love this movie, and it was the highlight of my year.
Yeah, I almost put it on my list as well. But I had to really kind of check myself and really think hard about, like, okay, of the stuff that kind of that impacted me as a person over last year. Like, I loved Infinity War. I thought it was great. And it's definitely
phrase this whole answer in a way that makes me look bad.
In an upper echelon of things. But for me personally, it was just a moment of I don't want to say that I've hit superhero movie fatigue, because I think that kind of a shitty term in a way.
But I'm fatigued of superhero movies.
But I've sort of gotten to the point where I just don't feel like they impact me the same way. And I think it kind of, oddly enough, I'm trying to think of the one that where it was Black Panther. Black Panther really, really did it for me. I thought that movie was astounding. I loved it, and except for the CGI. And so, like, after that, it was just kind of like it just didn't hit me in the same way as Black Panther did. And neither did Spider-Man Homecoming. And honestly, I I really enjoyed Captain Marvel, but it still didn't really. It wasn't that baseball bat to the chest feeling. It was, and I guess I'm kind of waiting for that to happen again. And Infinity War just didn't do it, unfortunately. Like, I still loved it, but I didn't walk away from that movie going, I gotta talk to someone about this. So I kind of had to be real with myself, and that's why I didn't include it in my list.
Fair enough.
But it's good. I'm glad you added it, because I felt like it wouldn't have been fair for us not to at least touch on that as something that happened last year, because that was huge. Like, I can't deny that. It was
not
huge.
For you, apparently. Apparently we're alone in this. It's just me living vicariously through media.
Sorry, champ.
No, I liked it. It was my favorite movie of the year. My girlfriend and I both loved it, and it's good. I love the Marvel movies. So
let's see here. AG Morningstar says, "Gotta go to work. You both have a good night, and see you in the morning."
Work all day, work for underpants. Yay.
What?
Gotta go to work. Work all day. Work for underpants. Yay. Whenever people say gotta go to work, that's all I can think now. From that South Park. Remember that?
Nope.
Okay. Never mind. So what was your number one, John?
So my number one is 100% just a personal moment in my life. I got a new apartment. And
Yay.
but no, it was actually kind of a big deal for me because of what I did during the move. And that sounds more sinister than I meant it to be.
Where are the bodies, John?
There's a whole team of house movers just gone. I regret nothing. But no, it was so. I don't know if I really touched on this a lot when it was happening, but the circumstances of my move weren't exactly great. I was essentially forced to move, and it was not a good situation. It wasn't a. It definitely wasn't a like, oh yeah, I want to do this sort of thing. It was definitely this was forced upon me, and not by like any like thing I had done, which would make it even worse. Because like there's a certain thing, like if I had screwed up somehow, like I wasn't paying my rent or I did something wrong, I would have been able to like accept my own like part in it.
Right.
You'd be like, okay, well I fucked up and whatever.
The cops were onto you.
Yeah, I was in one locale for too long. You know, the fuzz was moving in. You know, had to skip town. But no, it was caused by, unfortunately, of unraveling of the personal life of someone else, and I was unfortunately caught up in that and was forced to move. But what it did ultimately lead to was a positive. It led to a positive for me where before the move, or even where I realized I had to move, I was getting very, very stressed, and I had a lot of anxiety. And one of the reasons I feel I was getting a lot of this anxiety was, I mean, as plain as I can say it, my house got cluttered. Like, I just had too much shit. And there was so much stuff, and it was becoming almost impossible to keep the place clean and have it not look cluttered. And it was like a constant struggle for me. It was trying to combat this clutter and trying to, I was shoving closets full of stuff, and it was looking like a fucking cartoon where I'd open up the closet and stuff was like falling out, like, oh no, that sort of thing.
That sounds awesome. I like the idea of it just being an adventure every time you pick something up.
No, it was horrifying. It was a nightmare. It was a goddamn nightmare. And so when I was like, okay, well, now I have to move. Here's my chance. Here's my chance. I moved with 3 boxes. I had a box pretty much filled with clothes. I had a box pretty much filled with books and records and DVDs, or not DVDs, PlayStation games, and a box filled with some personal effects. And that was kind of it. I mean, I've acquired some more stuff since then, just to kind of fill needs. But when you go from that scenario that I was living in to as pared down as kind of possible in my situation, I didn't go full monk, but I can't really express just how freeing it feels. This is crazy. I would always try to clean the place, my old place, on my weekends from work. Like, okay, I'll take a day on my weekend. I'll go through the house. I'll clean it up. I'll organize things and stuff like that. And it was always a nightmare. I hated doing it. It was just the worst. And so a lot of times I just didn't do it, and then I would let a week or 2 weeks go by without any doing real cleaning. And all of a sudden I was faced with just this insurmountable mess. And I was just like, oh my God. And it was just driving me insane. And so now in my new apartment, like I said, I pared down like crazy. And on my weekends, I still clean on my weekend, but it's a matter of, I don't have to take the whole day. It's like a 45-minute process. And I can, I'll throw on some music. I'll enjoy it. I'll find a way to enjoy it. And it's been a real turnaround in my life. I definitely no longer feel stress from my own home.
That's good.
Yeah.
You sort of like this podcast's Marie Kondo.
Who?
Are you not up on Marie Kondo? The person who teaches you, the Japanese lady who teaches you how to tidy on Netflix?
Oh, that, okay. Oh, yeah, I've heard of her.
It's actually a good show. It's useful.
I've heard of that. But no, I'm definitely not any sort of like guru about it where it's like, oh, well, the trick is to hold up 2 items in your hand and choose which one you need more and throw the other one away or something like that.
Her thing is, when you pick something up, does it spark joy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? It sounds goofy, but it's actually legitimately good advice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
When you pick a thing up, does it make you go, oh yeah, this? Or do you just go, when your problem is you own too much stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not terrible advice.
My process is decide that you're going to use 3 boxes, go through your house, and the first things that you can find to throw into the box and fill it up, take those, everything else burn. It's a much more aggressive approach. Nope, didn't fit in the box. No. All my childhood memories and pictures. Nope, didn't fit in the box. Should have got there first. But yeah, that's my number one. I moved.
Oh,
it was.
That's adorable.
It's been a mostly enjoyable experience.
There we go. We ended on a nice sentimental note. I still think Infinity War was better than you moving, but fine. Fuck you.
Whatever.
You enjoy your clean house and your life with kayaking and value.
Okay, you know what? Here's why me moving was better than Infinity War. Right? Thanos did the snap and eliminated 50%. Okay? I moved and eliminated probably a solid 70% of my shit. All right? I am 20% better than Thanos. All right? He stopped too soon. He was thinking too small.
What's funny is, probably not something we can go into too much detail with, but John's move also killed a teenager from Queens. It's just a coincidence. I mean, we don't want to kind of go into it because it's kind of a horrific story that's as bizarre and hard to believe as it is, complicated and horrific. Mm-hmm. But, and this is a lighthearted comedy show, but, yeah. That also happened.
Well, I mean, bonus item on my list. This is, 1.A or whatever. I got really into sand art. So I just got vials of sand everywhere. It's purely coincidental that, I have names attached to each vial.
This is the thing, right? I have to ask an important question about sand art. Are you referring to the nice thing of pouring sand in nice places, or like the sand that you put in the water and it goes all squishy?
No, the pouring of colored sand into various bottles.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Is it all sort of a brown color with a meaty smell?
I mean, it depends. It depends on what they were wearing. What I was wearing when I picked the sand.
You can make that magic sand yourself, by the way. Just spray sand with Scotch Guard.
Yeah.
They sell it for a very expensive price. You can't make your own colored sand as easily, I suppose. Well, I suppose you could just mix Scotch Guard and food dye. Probably not that hard.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how they do like the very vibrant colors of like the sand, like the dry sand. You know what I mean? Because you'll get like these
grinding up parrots.
Paul, you want to cry?
You're sand now.
Oh, I was supposed to euthanize him first. Got it.
Yeah, you don't get as bright a red.
Right,
if you
right.
Yeah, it's parrots, puppies, butterflies, and I don't know, what's another animal people like to complete the joke?
Dolphins.
It has to be a vibrant color one. Nobody wants like that weird gray. Oh, what's this? What color is this magic sand? It's sort of like a.
I'm talking about specifically like the dolphins from like Lisa Frank posters.
Specifically, that dolphin you saw at SeaWorld that looked at you and you could see that it had feelings.
There's the one.
To the magic sand factory.
I can't do a dolphin noise. Is that a dolphin noise?
I mean, close enough.
I mean, what's your dolphin noise?
I don't know.
Come on.
I think it would be racist to do an impression of the dolphins.
There we go. Since Mister says peacock. There we go.
For that lovely shade of blue.
That is a lovely shade. Have you seen those red peacocks?
No.
Let's see if
I mean, I have, but there was an infection. It cleared up after. Oh, I just googled red peacock. They're amazing.
Yeah.
There's this town in.
I have a weird belief that I kind of get the feeling that some of these are faked. You know,
maybe.
Like.
There's this town in Britain that has all these peacocks. It hit the news a few years ago. It was really funny because everyone was complaining because all these peacocks are just wandering through the town all the time. And the peacocks call really loudly. So these peacocks are just roaming around the whole town. Mm-hmm. I remember reading this whole news story. And also peacocks are kind of dumb. So people get really cross because they keep attacking cars. Because they see their reflection in the car and charge it. And the end of this article I was reading ended by basically saying, there is a peacock farm a mile away from the town, but they have denied being responsible for the peacocks. And they had an interview with the woman from the farm, and she said, well, my grandmother said that there were peacocks in the town before the farm was here, so it's not our fault. We haven't had any escaped animals. So there's this town next to a peacock farm being overrun by peacocks, and the peacock farm is denying any connection.
What are you talking about? We don't have peacocks here. But it says Edinburgh's
Dave's Peacock Farm. Yeah. I want to go to the town in England being overrun by peacocks where they're just rolling around like, hey, what's going on?
You show up like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't see what the big deal. Also, like a 90-foot peacock.
Like Godzilla.
Holy shit!
The tail comes out and the sun goes dark. Like,
oh wow, it got cloudy quick. Oh my god! Get to the barn, boys! Get to the barn.
The females though, the peahens, that's a boring looking bird.
Oh yeah.
They're really disappointing compared to the peacock, aren't they?
Right, but it makes me wonder. Like, the male peacock has to be like the most like overcompensating of all birds because they don't really have to do much to distinguish themselves from the normal peahen, right?
Right.
Like, they can have like one green feather, be like, oh shit, look at that, you know. But they're like, nah, Nah, kid. Check this out. Fan, shake it ass. Let's go.
They see, from what I understand about men and women, what's actually going on is behind that fan, that peahen's like other husband is like playing poker with his buddies or something, or like he's doing something he's not supposed to. You know, he's fixing a fence using the ladder she told him not to use because it's broken.
Oh, what do you got there behind her? Nothing. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Hurry up, Bill. I'm trying. Jesus Christ. Just keep it spread, man. Just keep... Don't you dare put that fucking fan down. Right? You owe me.
No. Like, hey, man, oh yeah, Bill's out, you know. You fancy looking at my feathers?
Wait, is Bill there? Your
She's onto us. Scuttle. I form like a little phalanx of feathers to turn around. Which one's Bill? Which one's Bill? Bill. I would know that ass sticking out from the feathers anywhere. You been buying scratch cards again? No.
I can clearly see I Heart Muffy tattoo on your lower leg. I was there. I am Muffy.
You screwed it up, Greg.
I'm not the one who got the tattoo. Shut up, Greg. You always... Shut the fuck up, Greg. You're out of element. Are we still on for golf on Saturday? What the fuck do you think? I'm gonna be visiting her fucking mom for weeks now.
Look, you know the deal. This is why we have the feathers. You know, like, if you can't play ball, if you can't hold them out there for long enough, like, we're done. This is, you're out of the group. You're out of the team.
Look, evolution wanted it this way.
If you can't contribute, what are you gonna do on bowling night? You know, like, how are you gonna... We do one person on the lane, one person guarding at all times.
Assuming we have a bowling night anymore, Greg. Do you know what it's like to visit her mom? Do you know what it's like? No, you don't. Every fucking time. Oh, hi, Mrs. Johnson. Yes, I still have the sports car. No, you can't fit a baby seat in the backseat of it. That's why we got the minivan. Yes, I can afford 2 cars.
Yes,
no,
I'm
not trying to make you feel worse because you didn't have 2 cars growing up, all right?
Yes, I do still have my job, walking around in the grounds of a fancy hotel.
In fact, I'm taking a new position here soon, working on the terrace of a pub, all right? It's going to be great.
Deadbeat husband peacocks is my new favorite, my new favorite premise.
You know, they get back home and they're having that argument. Oh yeah, Bill, you think you're having so damn hard, huh? Having hard trying to sneak away with your little friends and go golfing and play poker and Lord knows what else you do. I saw you looking at those hens the other day. Like, oh, don't try to tell me that they're all hussies. I know they're hussies, okay? Do you think that me and my girlfriends don't want to do something like that? We do. We want to have fun, but we don't have the fucking fans. We don't have the fans. All right?
And then another peacock just comes in and just puts the fans up. I got you, buddy. Where'd you go? I know you're still in here, Bill. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, he must have left. Oh, what?
Jimmy, look, you've known me as long as you've known Bill, all right? Don't you keep covering up for him, all right?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Mating dance. Mating dance.
Have you talked to Sheila lately, huh? Have you wondered about what she's into? No, you don't, because you're always here trying to cover for Bill, all right? Go home. Go home, Jimmy, all right? Go home. You have children, all right? You have children. Should have married a fucking swan.
Can't handle the fighting all the time. That's the problem.
At least the queen likes them.
Peacocks, man. They have relationship issues. It's
Yeah.
lack of communication, if you ask me.
Right, you know, they Now I just imagine Dr. Phil with two peacock, a peacock and a peahen.
So what you're saying is, the feathers go up every time intimacy becomes an issue.
Now, can you tell me what your relationship was like with your mother? Oh, that bitch? Yeah, I can tell you exactly. Oh.
And how's that working for you?
No, I see. I know what you mean, Doctor. I get it. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Jenny, I'm sorry. Please, just, please. And then the whole audience, oh.
And then another one runs up and the feathers go in and they scuttle away. Males decide.
You.
Wait, what's that? Are you still here, Bill? You hiding behind the feathers? Oh yeah, he's here. Just a second. Run!
These are the disses. I thought you loved me for who I am. This is who I am. Oh, the big deal, Jenny. I never asked you to change. I've never asked you to change. That's because I'm not going around spending all our money at casinos and back alley dice games, okay? I don't have to change, all right? I'm the responsible one. Oh, always got to throw the responsibility thing in front of me, huh? That's what it is.
You've never seen me do these things.
Yeah, you don't. No, you can just assume. You just assume, right? I got you.
Run.
I'll get you next week, man. I promise. The best part about this whole thing is I know a lot of men, if they had this power, they would do it.
Right.
They would absolutely do it.
That's why it just seemed like the most normal thing in the world to be like, okay, why would a guy be showing a big obstacle to a woman? Because there's another guy behind them doing something he's not supposed to. Like...
The problem is that like all the hens become so jaded to it that they're trying to use that same thing to like do something sweet, you know? It's like, all right, man, it's my anniversary, right? I got this whole thing prepared. I just need you distracted for a little bit. Yeah, man, no problem. No problem. Oh, fuck off, Bill. All right, fuck off. Okay, not on our anniversary. Okay, not on our anniversary. All right, you're gonna really try this. All right, you're gonna try this. Corey, really? You think this is okay? Covering up for him on our anniversary? Bill, I don't think she's buying. I can hear you. I can fucking hear you. All right, I'm right here. All right. Yeah, I can't see behind you, but I can hear you. Dick. Fan goes down, beautiful rose bouquet, home cooked meal, chocolates and whatnot. I'm not even hungry. Bill. Okay, I just want to go to bed. All right, fucking ruin another anniversary. I don't know. Call over Diane, and maybe she'll want it, huh? Oh yeah, don't think I haven't seen you looking at Diane. All right,
Well, I mean, I haven't seen you looking at Diane, but every time Diane's around, your friend's fan goes up.
All right. I think it's about time we wrap up here.
Yeah, why don't you see us out, John? Just thinking about it.
Thank you all for watching. Those aren't biscuits.
I thought Steve was here. Is he going to the movies? No.
You're gonna tell me about the movie later, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great, man. You'll love it. Just there's 8-minute long sex scenes. I don't think the lesbians were involved at all. Is he watching that blue movie again? All right. You know how that makes me feel? That I'm all brown. I don't have blue. Okay. There's nothing I could do.
Look, Julie. Look, we can't discuss what goes on behind the fan.
It's peacock law.
It's a sacred trust.
It's P law. Just. and we I'm laughing beforehand, but if we break P law, we can be penalized.
You're the worst. Could be worse. You could have said cock law. So, John, why don't you see us out?
And then next I'm off to the penal colony. Thank you for watching Those Aren't Biscuits. I've been one of your hosts, John Kadot. As with me, as always, Owen Adams. Owen, where can they find you?
Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Owen Adams. And yourself?
You can find me right here on this channel, or you can follow me on Twitter, which was @JohnCPerson.
All right, that's awesome. Bye, guys.
Have a good one.